Dear audience, welcome to the show POWERchat. In today's episode, we plan to discuss the assistance of Korean government under the banner of Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA. Joining us today, Dr. Hyungkyoo KIM, Country Director of KOICA Nepal office. Please allow me to welcome him. Welcome to the show, Dr. Kim.
Thank you, Namaskar. I'm very happy to be here. To also have a chance to share my idea with you. Thank you.
How have you been?
Yeah, actually, I arrived this country last August, and it's been 10 months. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here actually again.
You have visited some places here in Nepal.
Yeah, this time I didn't have much time to visit, but 10 years ago, I was working in this country for 2 years. At that time, yeah, I've been many places.
Do you remember the places you visited and the people you met?
Of course,
around?
yes, of course, yes. Yeah, I've been to the Himalayan region and many dry areas like from the Tangkuta to Butwal. Yeah, I've been so many places at that time. Yeah, I had many memories with the people.
Well, Dr. Kim, next half an hour we'll be discussing Korea's development assistance to Nepal under the banner of KOICA. So would you highlight on the Korean assistance under KOICA, especially that for Nepal?
Yes, as one of donor, the Korean government focusing on that basically three strategic area of Nepal, like health and education and agriculture. That sectors are our priority. But as you know, Korea was one of the poorest country in the world just 30, 40 years ago. Then during our development era, we could got many the success story and experiences.
What made Korea come to this stage of development that the other countries around the world can learn from?
Yeah, it's a long story, but to make it shorter story, many foreign countries call it the secret of Korean development, or just the miracle of Han River. Whenever I got the questions, I used to respond to them by saying, there's no miracle actually, right? But if you insist to say it's miracle, I will say this is man-made miracle, right? Like Nepal, Korea didn't have not enough resources. Like, Korea is a very small country, and no resources.
So you mean to say that basically it was the dedication of Korean people?
Of course, yes. Basically our father generation sacrificed themselves to develop our country for the next generation with very powerful leadership and coherent guideline from the government. I think that could be that's one of the secret. Also, yeah, of course, that time we got very positive global environment, economic environment, the political environment. Of course, that would be one that condition for our speedy development. That's my
Well, you mentioned that your investment is in the area of education and health in Nepal, also in agriculture.
You're right.
So what is the partnership modalities, and why have you focused upon the areas you mentioned
yes,
here in Nepal?
Of course, when we think about our strategic field, of course, first we should consider your needs. At the same time, also we should consider the supply aspect, because which field we have the comparative advantages. Then there might be some crossing the part, need and supply. Then we could select that this three area would be beneficial for both countries. There is a need in Nepal, and we have strengthened in this field. So I think that it make more productive and more the positive result. That's yeah.
Dr. Kim, KOICA's presence in Nepal is already 2 decades, since 1995, right?
Yeah, right.
So what are the changes you see during these 2 decades in Nepal, that of your investment here in Nepal?
Yeah.
Especially in the sectors you mentioned, health, agriculture, and education.
I cannot say the changes between the 1990s to now, but as I said, I have worked here from 2002 to 4, and I came back actually, so I can compare the 2 period. Unfortunately, I cannot find some big changes in this area because at that time we also that contributed this country like infrastructures and quite basic infrastructure for the field, but this time I couldn't find that big changes in our project. It means
What could be the reason behind not noticing changes despite the fact that you have invested a lot?
there might be many reasons, but from my observation, there might be lack of some kind of the initiatives or guidelines from coherent guideline or initiative from your Euro government, because anyhow foreign aid should be invested by the country's initiative. If not, the investor will be spread here and there. So anyhow, the foreign investment or resources are very limited, and it should be focused on the specific and coherently by your government initiative. In that sense, there might be some lacks of that leadership or government.
Well, what is the modality of your partnership, especially who do you work with? The civil society organizations or government agencies? What is the partnership modality of the KOICA?
Basically, with your government and through your government, we do. Because
you mean with the line ministries?
Yeah, of course, yes. Because KOICA also a governmental body of Korean government, and we can and we should do through your official channel, governmental channel. Yeah, our main partner is your line ministry, and so civil.
What about the civil society organizations, NGOs? There are so many non-governmental organizations working here in Nepal.
Basically, we do not work directly with the civil society of Nepal. Instead, we support that Korean NGOs and civil society, and we just let them do with the local NGOs.
So you mean you work with the Korean NGOs or INGOs?
We sponsor.
You support them.
Yeah.
Then that support also comes to the NGOs of Nepal.
Yeah,
do you mean that?
Yeah. They should have the local partners here. They cannot work directly for this country. Or all the Korean NGOs that they have the local partners. I mean the local NGOs, so they are collaborating with the local NGOs for implementing the project in this field.
You said that despite the investment, there is no change.
No changes. Some changes, but not
some changes, but not expected one.
Yeah.
Are you in a position to consider your partnerships so that your funding directly goes to the civil society organizations? Civil society organizations in this country are vibrant.
Yeah, we don't have the special plan to work directly with the local NGO civil society, but we are trying to engage those, the non-governmental bodies into our project. But the Nepali government should motivate or so make the frame which we can engage those stakeholders in our project. But I think it takes time to be like that.
Well, Dr. Kim, what in your observation are the needs of Nepal, especially when it comes to the issues of development? Of course, you are focusing on three basic areas, as you mentioned, but do you think that there are other areas that your assistance should go in future?
Yeah, that's very good question. So whenever I meet some significant person in this country, I used to say, okay, Nepal have the resources and potentials, right? And I think you should drive donors like us, to invest for their asset resources, because if the foreign support cannot, change fundamental, livelihood of Nepal, there might be some danger of increasing the dependence. Instead, you have resources like water and tourism and even remittances, right? Remittances very, very precious and big resources of Nepal. Then, if they if they channel these resources to enhance the utility or productiveness of those resources, then it might be more, it may make more impact, positive impact for the future of Nepal. That's my perspective. And based on that strategies, the Nepal can have their own resources, right, from the asset. Then they can do whatever they should do, they like to do.
What do you think about the resource mobilization here? In Nepal, there is enough water resources and other natural resources as well. What do you suggest to the people of Nepal so that the natural resources, including that of water, are best utilized, and that also creates a safe and secure environment for the donors and investors here?
Right. Last year we, got suffered from the border close, something like that, and then we couldn't import the oil and gas, so all the people suffered. Then, okay, if you have enough electricity produced by your own power plant, then okay, you don't need too much dependent on the foreign environment. At the same time, Nepal, you are living on the tourism, right? With electricity, if you brand Nepal as a green, country by using the green energy and alternative, energies, so it also will create new chances and new, income and resources. I think that might be one possibility and potentials, I think. Then, to do that, you need resources. Why don't you try to, channel your remittances from the foreign country to build the kind of infrastructure to develop their potentials? So then you don't need to expect too much, the resources from like a foreign country in the scheme of ODA something. So you have your resources. Just connect your resources to the possibility and potentials. It might be, it might creating.
What are the problems, surrounding the mobilization of resources? This is a much talked issue in Nepal. For decades, we have been discussing about the utilization of resources here in Nepal, but it's not happening exactly. Where does the problem lie?
Well,
is it with the governing system, or the governance, or with the civil society organizations?
Yeah, every issues in any country,
or with the donors themselves.
Every issues in any country is related to governance, of course, particularly in developing countries. That reflecting on the Korea's development process during the 1960s, 70s. Yeah, most critical component in
the per capita income of Nepal and Korea 4 decades back I think similar.
Almost
It was
similar,
almost
yes.
same.
Yeah, almost same, right.
But you see, how can you compare Korea and Nepal now? know.
Quite different.
So you mean to say that governance is the basic thing?
Basically, because anyhow, you don't have enough resources to invest everywhere. Then you need first select and concentrate on the specific topic on the issues. Then who will do that? So yeah, as you said, the governance and the leadership is very important to the select the right thing and that drive all the government, the people, to concentrate on the development of the specific field. So yeah, strategy and also leadership would be critical to make it happen, I think.
Well, Dr. Kim, do you have specific plans to address the sustainable development goals?
Yes, we are actually started to consider this SDG into the programs even in Nepal, but still there are many ongoing projects. So of course, even to the ongoing project, we will reflect the SDGs strategy and the component, of course. But basically, we are thinking to start the new project related with the SDG goals. Mainly environmental aspect. We should more focus on the environment aspect, and that.
You mean the issues of environment?
Yeah, environment. That doesn't mean just the green or some
Right.
climate things.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, environment implying that money issues, income issues, without resources, we cannot protect our environment. Also, the other side, environment can create the income, like Nepal, right? If you preserve that your natural resources like Himalaya and the dry area, whatever, it will create income for the people. So, in that sense, we should combine environmental issues and even development issues together. It would be the main, the spirit of SDGs. So, in that sense, of course, we will severely consider how can we integrate the environment issues, development issues together. Particularly in Nepal, I think Nepal can show the very good, example how to, combine these two topics into one, basket.
Well, how do you plan to address and internalize the SDGs in Nepal under the banner of KOICA, especially that of the good governance is also one of the important aspects within SDGs.
Yes, as you know, the MDC had quite a selected target. Most of them are related to poverty reduction and also is targeted to the developing countries. But SDG has a different aspect. SDG is global, agenda for the development more inclusively, and it has multiplied the target like 17 targets. So we cannot. I don't think we can touch all the targets.
And one of the targets talks about global partnership.
Yeah.
And how do you plan to explore your partnership so that you reach out to the large scale partnerships without limiting your partnership with the government agencies?
Yeah, the English partnership is important. Okay, that of course we should have more the collaboration with your government at the same time with the other donors, right? Then to do that, basically your side, Nepali side, should have initiative to to include all the donors like us, to implement what they like to do, what they make focus. So then the include partnership may work. If not, if the your government do not initiate it, the donors will do. Based
the
on our
government
statistics.
initiative is important.
Very important, because partnership cannot be final target. Partnership, is important tool to get the final destination. Say somebody should specify the target and destination. Then the partnership, include partnership, will make contribution or will work. So that's my thinking.
Do you mean that KOICA's areas of interest in Nepal, you mentioned earlier that of the agriculture and education and health. So Nepal and the government agencies or the NGOs working here will see KOICA exploring the areas of work in the wider sense, not without limiting to the areas you were working in the past.
Yeah.
So to address the SDGs.
SDGs, yeah, still SDGs was announced last year, so all the donors like us, we are actually preparing the more specific, the plan and the implementation plan. So I think it takes time to integrate that global agenda into our project. But I wish your government have more initiatives to make more detailed, realistic plan to consider those the global agenda in your development plan first. Then we can have a most important references from your government. Then we can have a more realistic, more productive plan to help you, your country's strategy.
That is very important, I think, and as you said, that government initiative is considered to be crucial.
Definitely,
in utilizing the assistance coming from any place here in Nepal.
Definitely.
Often there is a trend, sometimes the money invested by the donors is not spent. Do you have such experience, line ministries or the partners working with you have not spent their money and they send back to you?
I don't have that kind of extreme experiences, but
or sometimes the funding or money is not best utilized.
Sometimes happen, but fortunately we have very good partner ministries, and they doing very good job. But even if sometimes happens like that,
what are the measures you take at that time?
Alternative ways, or we trying to persuade them, basically we trying to alternative way to spend or to proceed our project on track. So until now it has been quite successful, but we don't have that kind of serious experiences, fortunately.
Dr. Kim, we are coming to the end of the show. Could you list in one or two or three some points that Nepal could learn from Korea's fast development track?
Well, I think first of all, the Nepali people should recognize what kind of resources and the potentials we have. Then let us invest for that the possibility, potential or asset, national asset. Then based on the value added asset, your government should do whatever you like, based on that the resources made from that asset. So in that sense, that is most important and first should be done, I think. If you just expect the external support, there might be not the fundamental changes.
You mean the government initiative and government's willingness to do something is very crucial.
First, and start from your resources first, your asset,
Right.
your possibility, your potential. That would be most important thing.
Right.
But fortunately, you have abundant potential resources for
Resources
utilize.
should be
Yeah.
utilized. Well, Dr. Kim, it was pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dear audience, we have come to the end of the show Power Chat. Keep watching us. See you next week. Namaste.